Chairman LaBeige,
Here.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Berube is absent. Commissioner Craig is absent. Commissioner Crawford is absent. Commissioner Goodness,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Here.
Commissioner Macon is absent. Commissioner Provo,
Here.
Commissioner Segee is absent. Commissioner Templeton,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from the meeting held on May 12th, 2025. Those were mailed out to everyone. So at this time, I'd ask for any corrections, additions, or a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. Any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Show all voting for. Our first item on our regular minutes is item PZ 2025-172. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to extend an existing chain link fence to enclose a front yard. The applicant is Fernando Casas, and the address is 2305 South Street. I ask for staff report, please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Fernando Casas, on behalf of Nazario Trujillo, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to extend an existing chain link fence surrounding the property located at 2305 South Street. The chain link fence will be in front of the home and visible from the street right away. Our city ordinances state wrought iron and metal fences must be compatible with the style and period of the main building. Chain link, barbed wire, and razor fences are permitted only in the backyards and must not be visible from any street. As such, planning staff does recommend denial of this request. On the screen, this is the subject property. And this is the site plan. So kind of going back to this one, it'll encompass that front yard. To the north, I'm sorry. And to the west. And if you'd like, I'll bring it back to this picture and let me know what other pictures you'd like to see in that slideshow. I do believe that we have the property owners present, and I also believe that we have Ms. Arellano to help translate the.
Okay. Any questions for staff? All right, we'd ask that the applicant please come forward and state your name and your address for our records.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Nazario Trujillo, la dirección es 2305 South Street, Beaumont.
Is he saying that he lives at this address? Or is his address a different address than this address?
Sí, sí,
Yes.
He lives at this address, okay.
yes.
Thank you. I guess we'll give him an opportunity to tell us why he does not want to meet what the code requirements are for a fence on his property.
¿Por qué qué? Oh, ¿por qué no está?
He wants to know what are the requirements.
Okay, could we have staff please read those requirements again?
Yeah, so anytime you put a fence into the front yard, you have to bring it down to 4 feet, and there's certain materials that you can use. Main one being wood, and then if there's And then if there's any other materials that you would like, sometimes it has to come to the plant or the HLC commission. And then other times it could be, in this instance, a metal fence or chain link, barbed wire, or razor wire is not allowed or permitted in the Oaks Historic District.
No es permitido la cerca.
No podemos hacerla como está la enfrente, la chain.
No, no es permitido. Solamente de madera. En ese instante tiene que ser de 4 pies y para abajo y tiene que ser de madera.
¿De madera?
Al menos que
No, it's not just wood, it can be metal, like wrought iron.
puede ser de metal, pero tiene que ser de hierro.
O de hierro, no de esa.
No.
Ok. Pues sí tenemos que buscar un presupuesto que alguien nos dé para que la haga.
He said he's have to look for someone to give him a quote to see if there's changes that he can make.
Ese metal de la que tiene separaciones como de 4 pulgadas, de ese quieren ellos.
He wants to know what kind of fence, like is it a certain, like for example, 4 inches between each steel, I guess, fence or material that he would have to use. Is there any requirements such as that?
It can't obstruct the view of the historic home, so it needs to be like with the wrought iron fence, typically you can see right through those, so it just can't obstruct the.
I got a question.
Why don't you show him that fence right there? That's a very simple one. But that's an ornamental metal fence.
Así,
Puedo usar así,
okay. Pero de 4 pies.
pero de 4 pies para abajo. Y es que se tiene que ver la casa.
Okay.
And it can also, there again, it could also be built out of wood also, but it's an ornamental.
I can give you this number. There's a gentleman that makes, let me see your picture? Yeah. There's a number, and this guy, he lives on Angelina Street, right by there, and he speaks Spanish. His name is, because he just gave me a bid on another property, but then he speaks Spanish.
Okay.
He said he could take that from me.
I have a question for the staff. So what is that issue? Is the current fence that issue, or he wants to put another fence to the sidewalk?
The current fence is grandfathered into the ordinances as is because it's existing. What he's wanting to do is extend that into the front yard, and so because of that, it has to come before the HLC
So
for
right to the
approval.
sidewalk?
Yeah, out to yeah, essentially, but it's got to be on his property, so sometimes where that property line, it could be a little bit behind that sidewalk.
And why is he why does he want to extend this fence to the sidewalk?
Well, I think that's what we're trying to ask, or that's a good question for the applicant, so that he can maybe prove his case.
Yeah, why does he want to extend the fence?
No, es que tenemos muchos problemas. Por ejemplo, ahí nada más vivimos mi esposa y yo.
My
Y
wife and I live here. We have a couple
y
problems.
cerca de ahí, como unas 4 bloques,
And
han
close to 4 blocks away,
llevado muchas personas que no tienen hogar.
there's been a lot of
Y
homeless
pasan
people in
por
the
ahí
neighborhood, and they walk by,
y hacen muchos, se pelean entre
and they'll
ellos.
fight between one another.
Y como ven, a mi esposa le gusta mucho las plantas, el jardín.
And my wife
Se
likes
han
to plant
robado
and
varias, tenía macetas enfrente y se las robaron.
There's been various pots that she has that have been stolen.
Y otra cosa, tenemos un vecino
And another thing,
que
we
tiene
have a neighbor
como, no sé, 20 o 30 gatos
that has at
y
least
se le ensucia
20,
mucho el
30
jardín a mi
cats,
esposa, van y
and
se
the
hacen
cats
pu
tend to
en las
get inside
noches.
the plants during the nighttime.
Entonces, queremos la cerca porque, bueno, de todos modos los gatos se van a pasar, pero
And we know that the fence would kind of find their way in, but fence to help prevent that.
Isn't that illegal to have that many cats at one residence?
I'm assuming so.
He's saying that they're in the neighborhood.
En solamente
no,
una
no sé.
residencia.
We would need to report it to animal care. They're the ones that oversee that ordinance, and they would be able to
Si
enforce it.
alguien, por ejemplo, de ellos pasa enfrente de donde vivimos, en el driveway de ese vecino, en ocasiones hay hasta como 15 gatos ahí.
Said if you were
Entonces,
to pass by right now on their driveway, there could be up to 15 cats just in the driveway.
Need to be reported.
Yeah, that's
Let
kind
him
of
know
hard to
that she's gonna
control.
report that to animal control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll climb the fence anyway.
There's the phone number for the fence. Also, there's a company
Would
called Bell
staff,
Fencing.
would a picket fence, a wooden picket fence, would that be appropriate?
It would just
4
need to
feet.
taper down to 4 feet.
Yeah. Has he considered a picket fence, maybe a 4 feet picket fence made out of wood?
Bueno, eso necesitaría decidirlo mi esposa, porque ella es la que...
He's saying his wife
Es
would
la
have to
que manda.
decide because she's the one that makes the decision.
You gotta get wife's approval. I would suggest that he that he look into that as well.
Does he,
Picket fence.
and does he know what we're talking about when you say wood picket fence?
The house.
Picket fence, 4 feet picket fence, you still gonna be able to see.
Yeah, but you gotta paint it and then it gets rotted and
Y
everything.
en caso de que decida hacerla de madera,
We got so
necesito
many
venir
picket
otra vez
fences in
And
Old
if in the
Town.
case he would like to make it of wood, would he
Yeah.
have to come
You
back
got
for
the
the
wooden
picket
house you
fence?
gotta maintain too.
Yeah,
He has to come back for whatever kind of fence, but he wouldn't have to come before us if it meets the ordinance. All he has to do is see the ladies here in our code division.
The fence cuts off the house.
Sí, tendrá que venir otra vez, pero no lo tenía.
Yeah, a little cottage looking house. Yeah.
Tendrá que hablar con él.
And just tell him that he needs to bring a picture of the fence that he wants to put up so they know what he's wanting to do. But other than that, I want to say one thing. I'm a big gardener too, and you have a very nice looking front yard. You ought to be very proud of it, and I know why you want to protect it.
It's very nice looking. The house looks really nice.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
And I would like to add, because I live right around the corner from that house, and I've watched you make improvements on that home over the years, and you are doing a very good job.
Oportunidad de que está también trabajo que está haciendo con su casa.
Okay.
Él vive muy cerca de usted. What street are you on?
I'm on Angelina. Yeah.
Bueno, gracias.
Okay, is there anything else?
No, nomás eso.
No, that would be it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, is there any further discussion? If not, I'll ask for a motion on PZ 2025-172.
I make a motion that we deny the request based on the fact that we don't, the ordinance doesn't approve it, and it's not something that we've ordinarily approved without a really good reason. So I make a motion that we deny the request.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, Susan, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Chairman LaBiche,
Deny.
the motion is to deny. Do you approve the
Yes,
denial?
approved.
Commissioner Bell,
Approve the denial.
Commissioner Berube,
Approved.
Commissioner Crawford,
Approve.
Commissioner Goodness,
Approve.
Commissioner Kelly,
Approved.
Commissioner Provo,
Approve.
Commissioner Templeton,
Approve.
Commissioner Thomas.
Approve.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to our next file, which is PZ 2025-179. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to convert a garage structure to a mother-in-law suite. The address is 2395 Angelina Street, and the Miss Garcia is the applicant.
Yes, sir. Nanelli Garcia is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to convert a garage structure into a mother-in-law suite at the property located at 2395 Angelina Street. Ms. Garcia is seeking to remove the current roll-up garage door and replace it with a standard front door and add vertical siding to match the structure, which will be installed to enclose the remaining area. Windows will be installed on the front and sides of the structure to meet the applicable residential code. This property is not in the this property is not in the spare Beaumont survey. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number one, the windows shall be installed 1/1. Number two, all necessary permits and inspections shall be obtained through the Building Codes Department. And on your screen, that's the subject property. And then this is the garage they wish to convert. This is their elevation drawings. Property to the west and to the east. And I'll go back to that garage structure so you guys can see that, unless you'd rather the elevation drawings.
Elevation.
Sure, and I don't believe that we have the property or the applicant here. So if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Right, any questions for staff?
I've got, if it's for a mother-in-law, why does it have 2 bedrooms?
A mother-in-law suite doesn't have to be one bedroom, it can have multiple.
My logic, when you start building a 2-bedroom apartment on a property, instead of a mother-in-law suite, they end up selling this property, then later on, it could be rented as a 2-bedroom apartment, then you've got the parking issues and all that.
Well, an apartment and a residential structure or an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, is different definitions. So this would be for a mother-in-law suite or an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. So if they wanted to do an apartment, that would go under a different zoning and building code. So they would have other permits that they would have to seek in order to have that.
So later on, if they sell this property and somebody else purchases it, can they change that zoning to apartment?
No, if they were to change the zoning, they would have to go through the planning division, which would also have to go before the planning commission and city council for approval. Knowing this area, I've looked at the zoning map quite a bit. This area is largely, I believe, residential conservation revitalization historic. So if they were to change that specific zone for that specific piece of property, that would be considered spot zoning, which is illegal, and it would violate the chapter 211 of the local government code. Essentially, it would be, they would have to go through more steps in order to achieve that, if that's what they wanted. And it's not necessarily something that can be approved without going through the necessary steps.
Our firm does a little senior housing stuff, and most everybody in senior housing wants an extra bedroom so that someone from out of town can come stay with them whenever they come into town. So it's not unusual for 2 or 3 bedrooms in senior living to.
Yeah, that's multi-family.
I agree with that. I just had my mother-in-law build a suite.
I think that your zoning has you covered on this thing. You can't have an apartment in this area. It's all single family, so I think your concerns are met by what our code says.
Well, we've
If
had
they
several,
wanted
we have
to-
several garage apartments on properties in that area.
They do.
So at one time, it apparently was.
Well, if you can be grandfathered in, if before the zone it was apartment, then it's grandfathered. But once,
You can.
I'm not
And-
saying
And
that-
real quick, I will say, in our special conditions, it was recently amended, well, I say recent, it was probably last year sometime, amended where you can have a mother-in-law suite by right. And that's really to accommodate a larger trend of ensuring that your family can be on your property with you. But if they wanted to ever rent it, they would have to seek a specific use permit, which that would go through the planning commission and then also needs additional approval by the city council.
Can you show that first photo, because it shows where they park now, it looked like,
This one or the one before?
the one of that, so it looks like they park over here on the side already.
What's that side street that the garage is on?
You know, I can pull it up on my phone. One moment.
But
Can we go back to the first photo? So where's it going to be at? If I'm looking at this photo, where's this mother-in-law is going to be at?
You can see the white roof behind the fence. See that little white roof sticking up behind that wooden fence on the right-hand side?
Okay.
It's at the end of that fence.
Looks like
So
it's
this is a
also-
corner lot.
It's behind the house.
This house sits on the corner. So as you go around the corner, the fence ends at the little building that they want to turn into a mother-in-law suite, which is, right now, I guess it's a garage.
Okay.
So it looks like it's 8th Street.
8th Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do want to reiterate, like the use of the property is with the planning commission and city council. So really, this body is here to evaluate what the aesthetics of it and to ensure that it aligns with our Oaks Historic Preservation Overlay District.
Okay.
It's in the back. What's that?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the front of the house. That's the garage.
Oh, okay.
It faces 8th Street.
Pretty deep garage.
Well, the piece of property is really deep, too. When you look at it on Google Maps, you can see how deep it is.
It's a detached garage.
got you. So it's a bonus. Take this. Okay.
And it faces 8th.
I got you. Okay.
Any other questions for staff? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve PZ 2025-179 with the staff recommendations on the windows and the permits and inspections.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I guess we ask for a roll call vote, please, Susan.
Chairman LaBiche,
For?
Commissioner Bell,
Approve.
Commissioner Baribi,
Or
Commissioner Crawford,
Or
Commissioner Goodness,
Or
Commissioner Kelly,
Or
Provo, Commissioner Templeton,
Or
Commissioner Thomas.
Four.
Thank you.
All right, our next order of business is the Historic District Code Enforcement Report.
I'll be reporting for May 2025. 16 affidavits were completed along with 16 charges filed in municipal court. 15 pre-court inspections were completed. 2 new general nuisance cases were opened and 3 general nuisance re-inspections were completed. 66 new historic preservation cases were opened and 91 historic preservation re-inspections were completed. 14 new junk motor vehicles and 12 junk motor vehicle re-inspections. 2 junk motor vehicles tagged with 2 owner compliance. 22 new litter violations, 16 litter re-inspections, 38 new weed violations, 170 weed re-inspections, 73 weed city compliance cut inspections, and 4 owner compliance cut inspections. 4 new zoning violations, 2 zoning re-inspections, 11 graffiti violations, and 11 graffiti re-inspections for a total of 590 inspections.
Wow.
Pretty busy, huh?
Yeah.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I had called in about that tent. They put up a makeshift tent at 2312 Avalon.
The consensus from Elena on that one was that there are no ordinances stating that we cannot have tents acting as a greenhouse.
I'll look into it a little bit more. You said 2312 Avalon?
They use it as parking.
Okay.
It's at the end of their driveway, and they have just a plastic tent, and they use it as a garage, basically, on their driveway.
Okay, I'll look into that more.
It was the neighbors down the street from them that called me.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's only
Yeah,
it's not permanent.
until it falls apart.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other business? If not, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Oh, also I have another announcement. Oh, I wanted to thank our councilwoman, LaDonna Sherwood, for attending our meeting.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
All right, great.
you'll
I'm sorry.
No problem.